Do you ever have some of those days, weeks, months where you are just like, why am I going through this? What is going on? Yesterday I was sharing with somebody, and as I shared, I had a different perspective on something, which I definitely know is Holy Spirit. So I wanted to share with you for those times when you're like, why am I going through this? Why is all this coming against me? That sometimes it's not about you. We are all familiar, most people are familiar with the stories in the book of Daniel about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego being thrown into the fiery furnace. And we talk about their strong faith, which is absolutely true to the story. And the story of Daniel that's found in Daniel chapter 6, where again, Daniel is thrown into the lion's den. And again, it's a story of Daniel's faith because he was faithful to what God had said to do, and he prayed, and people came against him. And so sometimes people are going to come against you even though you're doing the right thing. But again, sometimes it's not about you. And so as I was sharing with these people yesterday, I was like, yes, you need to ask yourself, like, what is God trying to show you through this lesson? Whatever it is you're going through. But sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it's about the people, the other players that are going on. And so God brought me to the passage in Daniel, and I'm just going to share with you. This is in Daniel chapter 3, verse 29. After Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had been released from the midst of the fire, and that he had looked in and he had saw the fourth man. And it says, then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning furnace and spoke, and saying, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came in the midst of the fire, and all the people that were standing there saw these men and their bodies, and that the fire had no power on them. Their hair, their bodies, their clothes were unaffected, and there was no smell of fire on them. It says in verse 28, Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him, and that they have frustrated the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they should not serve nor worship any God except their God. Therefore I make a decree that any people, nation, or language which speaks anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut to pieces, and their houses shall be made in an ash heap, because there is no other God who can deliver like this. And then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And so maybe this story really has nothing at all to do with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and really has to do with those people who were standing by, and the nation, and the king, and letting him see the power of God at work in their lives. And then the same thing happens in Daniel chapter 6. This is verse 24. It's after Daniel has been, again, delivered from the lion's den. The king gave the command, and they brought the men who had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions overpowered them and broke all their bones in pieces before they ever came to the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote to all the people, nations, and languages that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men must tremble in fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God and steadfast forever. His kingdom is the one which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall endure to the end. He delivers and rescues, and he works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth, who has delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. And so Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus of Persia. And so I want you to just consider if maybe what you're going through really has more to do with people around you who need to see God's work in your life. And maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's about a bigger purpose. I hope you have a blessed day.